All right, joining me now right here on set, Kellyanne Conway, former counselor to President Trump, president of KA Consulting, and a Fox News contributor, and the author of the excellent book, Here's the Deal. Welcome back, Kellyanne. We appreciate it. Can I just say, all right, you have different views, say it. My view, I look at him, this is a grift. Biden's going out there to give them $600 million, okay? They're going to give him $100 million back. So from the standpoint of his green policy, with which I also completely disagree, the net is going to be about $500 billion. It's a complete grift.
It's a complete grift, but I would ask those who are investing in his campaign, including these companies, Larry, what are you getting? What is your return on investment? What is the rationale for a second term of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris? 4 more years of what? It's a serious question, because when we ask people that in polls, they can't tell you. That's why his polls are down on every major issue, including, by the way, climate change and the environment. He doesn't even have the strength there, which should be a gimme for him and his party, that he used to, because he's a flawed messenger. So it's one thing that Joe Biden doesn't have the energy. It's quite another that we as a nation don't have energy independence. So he's on the wrong side of this issue, as go so many Americans who are still looking at the gas prices, are still looking at the home heating costs, are still thinking about the effect of energy dependence on foreign dictators and foreign suppliers, on our overall well-being and health, financial health and otherwise, as a nation. Gasoline up
42% since he was elected. No, from February 2021 to the present. Gasoline is up. Well, it's $3.58. Trump left it under $2, so right. People know that. You're exactly right. I want to play some more stuff from Biden here. Take a listen to this one. I don't even want to give it away. It's too good. Take a listen.
All right. God save the Queen, man.
Really? God save the Queen. Now, I understand a lot of people have looked at this and pointed at this. I want to get your take on it, because it's a baffling statement. It goes with other baffling statements.
We shouldn't have a commander-in-chief and president of the United States who typically daily sounds like the crazy uncle in the attic. Our dictators all across the world are watching this, our troops. If you have a loved one serving the military abroad, what do you think of this? And the thing about Joe Biden that is so perplexing, if not frustrating to me, is that his antics cause all these Democrats to just fall in line. They're looking the other way, whereas the vast majority of Americans told ABC News in their poll last month, Larry, over 60% said that Joe Biden doesn't have the physical or mental capacity to do the job. It was over 70% among independents. Now, it would be funny, but the weird thing about Biden is, unlike a lot of political ads you see, you don't need to string together and stop the tape and show him in bad light. He does it all by himself. We're just watching raw material every single day of him. His vice president is just as bad when she speaks, and people see this. RFK Jr. is at 15% in the polls right now against Joe Biden. I think it's because of moments like this.
We're going to have him committee to unleash prosperity. We're going to have him for one of our dinners. I just want to play this other thing about this global railroad. Let's just run this, because I don't get this at all either.
We have plans to build a railroad from the Pacific all the way across the Indian Ocean. We have plans to build in Angola, one of the largest solar plants in the world. I can go on, but I'm not. I'm going off script. I'm going to get in trouble.
Well, I guess he's off script. I don't know. We measured it. We did some calculations using Google Maps and the English Channel Railroad. You got to go underneath the Pacific. It's a railroad, right? Underneath the Pacific, then back up on land over China or Indochina, where they would put it, then back under the Indian Ocean on its way to Africa. It's about 8,000 miles. And we guesstimated about $7 trillion, but I'm sure that's way too low. But here's a bigger question. What is he talking about? Why would anyone even envision this? Why is this important at all?
No one ever knows what he's talking about, and yet you heard people in the audience, if you looked at them, they're like nodding their head, great idea, Biden. You know why? You know why he gets away with it? Like, this is wonderful. When can I get on the railroad? This to nowhere. These are the same people who couldn't get baby formula on the shelves. These are the same people who can get shipping containers out of the ocean to come into the port. They're going to build a railroad the way you just described. And I'm sure, what's her name, will read it from a binder soon, exactly like you did with the maps and all. Larry, serious point. When it comes to Joe Biden, I think they bank on one thing. That when you hear Joe Biden say and do these crazy things, they'll say, he's not Trump. That's not going to work anymore. Trump's beating him in the polls, and Trump is still ahead in the primaries. This is an important point, because just saying Biden's not Trump and that's enough for you, that's not going to be enough for voters who are drowning economically. what people are saying now, they're not saying Biden's not Trump. This is what the Democrats say. They're saying Biden's not competent. Biden's not energetic. Biden's not nice. Biden's not a unifier. Biden's not lucid. These are the kinds of things that voters are telling pollsters like us on the daily.
By the way, you know, the Queen is the late Queen. I like the Queen.
Absolutely.
But this is the King. So
This
if
is
you
the
were going to be... Steve Forbes told me on radio that he was remembering that Connecticut was one of the 13 original colonies. But that would have been God Save the King. It was King George III, who admittedly was a crazy person.
We are overthinking this for Joe Biden.
Yeah, I'm overthinking it. But I want to underthink one thing. Last one, real quick. South Carolina sets a date for the first in the South presidential primary. 30 seconds, Kellyanne Conway.
You have two South Carolinians. Thank you. You have two South Carolinians running for president. Nikki Haley, the former governor, Tim Scott, current senator. They're both losing to Donald Trump right now in the polls. Trump is winning South Carolina. He's beating DeSantis in that order, and then it's Haley. I think Pence is in there somewhere, and Tim Scott. Here's the important point to remember about South Carolina. In 2016, it was winner take all. Donald Trump won every single one of the 50 delegates. Jeb Bush dropped out of the race right after South Carolina. Actually, he's got strength there. I think the untold story about Donald Trump is how he's beating all of these candidates in their own states. He's beating DeSantis in Florida, Haley and Scott in South Carolina. He was beating Sununu in New Hampshire, et cetera. So this whole argument about he's not electable is tough to make it when he's beating you in your own state.
And he's beating Biden.
He's beating Biden. He's got Biden under 40%. That's the key. 45 to 39, the latest poll. Keeping Biden under 40 is the key.
Bolton, news bulletin to Biden. He's not going to be in jail. Trump will not be in jail come election time.
You got
Sorry
it.
about that. Kellyanne Conway, nobody does it better, ever.
And Larry Kudlow. Thank you.